Hello and welcome to Sexy Scorpio. Sassy Scorpio with
Yeah, no
Mary
kidding. Sensual
Jane.
Scorpio.
Sexual Scorpio. And might I add sun-kissed because Mary Jane, you look glowing.
Oh, well, the light helps. And I just got back from Greece. It was a wonderful, uh, very sunlit vacation. Feels good. I love Greece. I go to Greece every time I can, and it certainly paid off this time. So,
You even had a spectacular storm.
yes, well, the season's winding down, isn't it, all over Europe? And Greece, as it turns out, is not an exception. It was the first week I was there, the middle, really, the beginning of October was very warm, lovely, blue sky, the whole bit. And as we got down to the 13th or 14th, why this monster storm comes up. The wind is very strong. It got really cold even
Oh,
at night.
sure.
Yeah, it was time to get out of town. So this happens. It happens even on the Greek islands. So what can you say?
Well, hey, but you were in Greece, so it's not all bad.
No, 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 no. It's totally tolerable.
Yeah, I loved your pictures that you sent. It's just, I love Greece too. Oh my gosh. So now we're
Yeah.
ready to get back into it and talk about Scorpio. This
Well,
is,
yes, the time has come, and
yeah,
there's a lot to say. This is an amazing energy field. Let's talk about Scorpio first of all, a water sign, an emotional sign with that in mind. Emotions are running high. Scorpio is a fixed sign too, so we have a lot to do with getting even. And there's this notion of not letting issues go over your head. Just let things fly. This does not happen in Scorpio. You're really in for the dig, and everyone wants to uh, get the last word in, get their ideas out there, and you can be willing to fight for what you think is right, which is sometimes nice. But Scorpio is ruled by Pluto on one end, the new ruler. Mars is the ancient ruler. These are very, very violent planets. And this is why the passionate energy of Scorpio is so easy tipped over into passionate reactions that are overreactions, in fact. This is
right.
something we have to take care of through this month. There are still some kind of nasty planetary reactions going on to both Pluto and to Mars.
Right.
So we're just going to have to keep our cool heads on and be willing to talk, be willing to negotiate, be willing to see the other guy. And that's what's going to get us through this month, basically, I think.
Well, as you know, we've got some Scorpios in the family, my brother and my daughter, namely, and it's an intense sign full of intensity and moodiness. And
Oh, my, yes, yes,
yes, what is it
yes.
that makes Scorpios so, I don't know, intense?
The Scorpio energy is one that is going in depth. The Scorpio birth, or planets that are acting it through Scorpio, have to get down to the bottom of things, have to see the absolute final word in any subject that they touch on. It's a sign that requires purity. It requires cleaning out. The whole idea of Scorpio is to uh, get rid of all the excess, get rid of anything that's secondary, get rid of anything that's not absolutely essential, get down to the bottom. And so they spend a lot of time on themselves as well. This is why the Scorpio birth can be, the natives of Scorpio can be so terribly intense, often even self-annihilating. They'll
Hmm.
go to the extent of even getting into their total psychology, their total inwardness, and they have to live through that, and then they're able to see the heights, actually. The Scorpio personality is very complex for that in mind. They have the Scorpio can be the worst and can also come out the best. They come out after all of their hassles, after all of their problems, after all of their seeking. They come out often brilliant
Yeah.
and extremely enlightened. It's a fascinating sign for that because the energy is so intense and can be so pure. It's absolutely purifying. And when it works well, it works beautifully well.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, and so it does sound like this particular time around in Scorpio 2021 is going to be, a little bit heavy and a little bit difficult to get through. So, what are some of the things that are going to make it more, kind of more heavy?
Well, with the square from Saturn to Uranus is still in place.
Mhm.
This is we're getting rid of some of this energy. Saturn is moving out of its orb into with the Uranus, and this is going to simplify all of the fight for land, all of the border wars, all of the disasters that are happening within boundaries as well. Civil war is going to slowly but surely be a bit tempered. And we're going to see, especially into November and December, we're going to see some easing off of some of these terrible border crises that seem to be going on in every war zone, in fact. And in the States, you've seen the problems with Haitian people, for instance, that
Yeah.
that need desperately to immigrate, and they're being hassled around a whole lot too. It's part of the program. But this, again, I'm saying before the end of the year, we should see some calming effect in that particular type of crisis. That's one of the really good things that's going on. The others are a bit more difficult, although we're seeing signs again from the fast planets that are helping this Saturn to find room for compromise, room for discussion. And this is something that is going to be extremely helpful through this month that's otherwise kind of complicated.
Right, right,
Those are maybe some of the major movements.
right.
So
You said
yeah.
around the 24th, 27th, there are some things coming up.
Right, right. Well, the 24th, first of all, is it's a nice intermediate time before we get really off and running and down and dirty. It's a time when the moon is coming over Ceres, and it's a good time. All of this is happening opposite Venus. So it's a good time for mothers and daughters to be talking, to be getting close, to be working out any problems that they seem to have. It's also true between bosses and their interns, for instance, as
Sure.
people who are in lesser positions are going to be able to talk to their superiors, talk to their bosses, and so on,
Mhm.
and get on an even keel, which can help in a lot of business situations for a lot of people. This seems especially strong between women who are working together.
Interesting. So, yeah, so it sounds like a more feminine type of energy, but a feminine
Exactly.
CEO type of energy too.
Yes, yes, indeed, indeed. With a lot of help from Saturn. So again, Saturn through the month is going to call up a reasoning energy. It's time to be serious. It's time to not yell at each other. It's time to look for solutions. It's time to look for maybe new ways of acting out. This is all going to be helpful in this particular context. Now things heat up a bit, I must say.
Yeah.
In the 27th and the 28th of October look very difficult for the same reasons. The moon is coming opposite this famous Pluto. It's in square to Mars. So it's going to be just 2 days, in fact, to lay low. Avoid serious arguments. They're not that serious. Everyone is has nerves going like this, and it's just an extremely sensitive time. You can take the least argument too seriously and take everything too much to heart. It's a good time to let things slide a bit. Don't worry about what the other guy is saying. It's probably not pertinent to your lifestyle anyhow.
Right.
And it's just a good time to let things slide until we get into a better, much better place in on the 30th,
Right.
where we've got some Venus is helping out, Mercury's helping out to find middle ground, to find a gentler way to get along, find some better arguments, find some better reasons for things you want to get done.
Mhm.
So we'll let this slide a little bit over that long 3-day period that everyone's just going to have to practice a little patience.
Good, 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 good. And then it sounds like by the beginning of November, things start to really turn around.
Yeah, actually, the sun is going to be going over my friend Pallas Athena, who's looking to again make order. Pallas Athena, this famous asteroid, is sort of in charge of saying, look, guys, now there's a way to do this. Let's be polite. Let's stay organized. Let's stay orderly. And finally, the sun going over this particular planet, which is also in some nice aspects elsewhere, is going to call for order, call for reason. And this is always useful through this period, this highly sensational and very overreactive period.
Right,
Again, this voice of reason is going to be useful around the first of November.
right. And also around the
Right.
1st of November in the United States, we have a lot of elections, local stuff. So that's
Oh,
useful. That's useful to know.
yes, yes, and we must use these couple of days to listen to each other's arguments, try to find out what the true arguments are, what the true differences are, and put aside the rhetoric, put aside the overreaction. It is
Right.
again purely personal and purely emotional. There's no room for that in this kind of period, in this kind of election period, especially.
Yeah, it's all small stuff, local stuff, but it really matters.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so,
Well, I think so too. We could talk forever about the Haitian refugees on Mexico, but what's going on in your community is important as well, and is going to be touching you even more forcefully, more importantly, perhaps,
mhm,
than things that are going on the other side of the world.
right.
So, bring it home and use this reasoning energy. This is an important time to be sitting down around the conference table and say, look, this can happen or this can happen, but maybe both can happen.
hmm
Or we find a third thing that can happen. This is a nice approach as well.
Right, right, right.
The the other time I wanted to get involved in, which
Yeah.
is very important right after that, is the new moon that's coming up on the 4th of November. Again, a very difficult new moon, where again, tempers are rampant. People are very nervous. It's time, it's my way or the highway under this new moon. It's a time when
Mhm.
everyone is wanting to just get off the ground and get busy and do their thing, and I'm right and you're wrong. And that can be extremely dangerous with this particular new moon, where Mars is showing up, Venus is showing up. Venus, we'll have to talk about her in a second. Saturn is showing up. Again, Uranus is showing up. Everyone's again angry. Everyone is again taking positions that are just hard to uphold and hard to defend. So we're going to have to again let this new mood slide over us and get on to something a little more useful. Let's see, on the 5th of November, this already gets much quieter. much quieter. There's some nice things going on the 5th. First of all, our friend Venus that I wanted to talk about, who's still in this semi-square position to the sun that we've been talking about, and it will still be there at the end of November. So we have to talk about her feeling alone and maligned and misused and kind of out there all by herself. But she's receiving some serious help on the 5th from Mars. This is a time when there can be realignment, especially between the sexes and in couples arguments and so on. Venus is first of all moving into Capricorn. This is a much more reasonable space. This is a time when she's saying, all right, I know what I need, but I'm willing to compromise. I'm willing to at least listen to you, Mars, and we'll see if we can work something out. That's nice already. And then on the 8th, as the moon is coming over this same Venus, so we're going to have a nice underlining of this notion of, yes, let's get reasonable, let's calm this fiery thing that's going on and be a little more reasonable. So this is going to be a very helpful passage into some healthier space, I think. There's an idea of, first of all, room for compromise, and there's an idea of renewal of friendships, renewal of contracts. If you have anything you have to sign, put it off until the 8th, because this is a time when we can find, again, middle ground. There's room for compromise. There's room for refinding some old friendships that may have gone under the wheels during all these different arguments. So that's very useful, I think. It's going to be the end of that from the 5th until the 8th, actually. We're going to see some nice, gentler energy getting established here. The last part I wanted to talk about was the full moon that's coming up on the 19th of November. This is very difficult for the same notion of signing contracts for litigation, trial dates, anything you've got going on legally, especially, and important business decisions, all kinds of decisions, actually. It's very difficult because, again, we're under this notion of passions rising and things not getting done according to our way of looking. There's some help to be called up from experts. I'm saying experts because Pluto is in nice alignment to this full moon, and Pluto that represents the guy who knows, right? This is your computer guy. This is your financial guide. This is your banker. This is someone who's in charge of keeping your life to more or less together. And we can also count on Neptune for our own personal inspiration. It's a very good time to sit down and say, all right, this is going on, but what can I do about it? Look for help coming from outside. Neptune's nice like that.
Good.
And will definitely be useful through this full moon on the 19th. So those are some important dates. I think that should get us through into Sagittarius, which is likely to be a little more lighthearted in any case. And it'll give us a bit of breathing space, a bit of moving space.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Right. And then we're gearing up for, the end of Scorpio and then moving into Sagittarius, right?
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's happening, I don't know, the 22nd, I think,
November.
of 21st, 22nd of November. We'll
Yeah.
have a look at that a little later.
Right. Absolutely. Well, that is Scorpio.
Oof. So everybody just keep cool. Uh, Dispassionate is maybe the best word.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is a tendency in Scorpio, as in Taurus, on the other side of this axis, there's a need, a desire to invest emotionally in things that are not necessarily emotionally important to us. But that's what's going on in Scorpio. This is becomes very emotionally tied up, and we can get in a lot of trouble like that.
Exactly. Just
Find a
a
lot of solutions as far as, as far as cleaning out your closet. It's wonderful. uh, Getting rid of the detritus. It's an interesting time to be doing dental work. Surgery, can you pick your surgical dates carefully, but meanwhile, everything that is involved in getting rid of the detritus, getting down to basics, this is what Scorpio does the best.
Oh, that is wonderful. That's great advice. You know what? That brings up an important point that I think that scheduling surgeries is one of these things that we can schedule advantageously with astrology.
Totally, totally. I spend actually quite a lot of time looking for court dates, interview dates, surgery dates, all kinds of invasive things that we have to go through. Pick your moment. These planets are there to help us, as are our guardian angels, but we can use them in adapting the cycles that are going on around us, adapting them properly to our own cycle, our own personal cycle. And that's what astrology is all about. Actually,
Absolutely.
inserting ourselves into the wave, into the pattern. And I've it's been my history that through astrology we can pick some very good dates for some very awkward situations. It helps a lot.
Especially the things that are um, schedulable. I mean, there are certain
Yeah,
things that are,
elective
right?
surgery. Exactly,
Exactly.
exactly. This, when we can call up the doctor and say, "Look, I'd like to be in the hospital at on the 10th of November or whatever." Why, this is a plus for him, for us, because
Hmm.
we're working from our strongest uh, point of view, from our strongest
Absolutely.
angle, and that's always useful, especially in elective surgery and so on.
Right, right. So I do have a client today who's undergoing surgery at this moment as we're recording, which is October 18th.
Uh-huh.
And the surgery is supposed to start at 11 o'clock. And so I've been sending this client Reiki for this. And
Absolutely.
I'm just hoping that this is a good date for this particular surgery. And anyway, but sometimes don't have much of a choice when scheduling these things. Sometimes we're at the whim of the doctor,
No.
the hospital, our condition, etc.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Sure. Sure. Which is like why I like to tell people about very, very awkward dates where accidents are happening, where there's no uh, support from outside planets. It's just us out there in the universe, like targets. And we've just got to be very careful through these dates to avoid accidents if we can. And certainly not go looking for these particular points as an ideal surgical date. Let's not go there.
But then if it turns out that we don't have much choice in scheduling these things, at least knowing that this is a date where it could be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, then we can do some things like maybe get some extra Reiki, get some extra support,
For
you know,
sure, for
and
sure, there are all
things up a
kinds
little
of
bit
ways
differently.
to protect oneself
Right.
in this universe, after all. So,
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, yep, yep. So I do want to put out a plug. You've got a subscription service available.
absolutely. As soon as I have I'm talking to my future clients out there. As soon as I have your natal chart in my hands, where we can do yearly work with a solar return, we can choose these elective activities much more competently than just throwing a dart out there on the on the calendar and looking for a date. All of these things can come home. This is the idea, is to personalize these energies and make them yours. That's what I would like to do for you.
Right. And you've got a subscription service as well. Once you've got the natal chart done and drawn up, then, a subscription to get it a monthly horoscope.
Sure, exactly, exactly. Answering offering, first of all, things that I see on your chart, but also answering your questions if you have uh, activities or something coming up that you want to schedule. Why, this is a two-way street after all.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. So I always love to put that plug out. And I guess we will see you again in Sagittarius.
Absolutely, with pleasure.
Wonderful.